Hey guys, today I'm going to step aside from the computer and just go over some of the pros and the cons of jailbreaking your iPod Touch or iPhone, and also just kind of explaining what is jailbreaking. Because some people wonder, like all this talk about jailbreaking, like what is it, will it harm my device, or just kind of the things that people wonder about jailbreaking. And so I'm going to answer some of those questions, and so let's get right into it. So here I have my iPod Touch, second generation, 32 gigabyte. Now, it does depend somewhat on the generation of your device and the storage amount, because typically 32 and 64 gigabyte iPods are going to have more RAM than the 8 gigabyte versions. And also, in comparison, iPhones have, I believe, like probably about twice as much RAM than iPod Touches do. So that all varies on the kind of like if you have an iPod Touch or an iPhone, and kind of what type of device you have. Okay, so I'm going to be talking mostly about just kind of like a neutral device, second generation iPod Touch, 32 gigabyte here. And so as you can see, it is jailbroken. Sorry, didn't mean to use that finger. As you can see, it is jailbroken. Oops. And the biggest thing that I don't like about my jailbroken iPod is that it is very slow, very slow. And a friend of mine gave me his iPod to jailbreak, and it was a fourth generation 32 gig. And when I jailbroke it, it was still pretty fast. So I mean, it kind of depends. Like I said earlier, it kind of depends on your iPod, but it makes it very slow. It crashes all the time, man. It is so freaking irritating. Just you'll open the app and it'll crash. I mean, or just like it won't even load. I mean, it won't even load. It's just so irritating. Like for instance, Pandora. I listen to Pandora quite a bit because I actually got this tweak on there where from Cydia where you can actually allows you to skip as many tracks on Pandora as you want. And even before I put the hack on there, I mean, it just crashed all the times. And sometimes when you apply different tweaks to certain apps, it rather won't open at all, or it'll be very slow to open. So that really does slow it down. So the biggest two things I think that change the performance of the iPod is it makes it extremely slow and it makes the apps crash all the time. And those are things that are just extremely irritating. I mean, I want to check my iPod through Windows sometimes. I mean, so those are two things to consider right there. And it also the actual springboard crashes a lot, which means that sometimes you'll be doing something like you'll be browsing on Safari or you'll be watching a YouTube video or whatever, and it'll just kind of freeze, right? It'll just freeze up, which actually freezes a lot anyways, besides springboard crashing. And the springboard will crash, which means it'll just freeze, and then it'll just stay like that for a while. And then it'll kind of like go black, or it'll turn on a different screen, where it basically just kind of puts it in safe mode or whatever, and kind of erases all the stuff you've already done, and then you'll have to restart it again to get back to your original jailbroke mode. And so that's a very irritating. Yeah, so it makes it very slow. It makes it crash a lot. It makes the springboard crash a lot. Those are the three main things that I don't like about the iPod Touch. Jailbreaking it. Also, another thing that I've encountered a problem with jailbreaking is sometimes I've had this happen like 2 or 3 times under different two or three different ways it happened. Is where it was just like one time it just completely froze. It just froze up, and I was like, oh, I'll just let it sit there, and maybe it'll just like respring or whatever eventually. And it sit there for like hours and hours and hours. And so, okay, so I did the method, hold down the power and the home button at the same time. So it restarted it, and then it was just stuck on the boot logo, and it had that little spiral thing, and it was just stuck there. I mean, I couldn't do squat with it, so I had to restore the whole iPod. I mean, it erased all the things I've ever done on it, as far as the jailbreak and tweaks and all that stuff. And then I had to like restore, and I had to put all my apps. I have lots of apps on here. Put all my apps back, all my songs, all my videos, all my pictures. It just took forever, man. And it's, oh my god, it took hours and hours and hours. It was so frustrating. And I lost all the tweaks and apps and everything I've downloaded since I had it jailbroken. And so then I had to re-jailbreak it. And sure enough, like a week later, did the same thing, but a little different. It just like froze on this one screen, and then I mean, when you let me restart it. And then another time, what it did was, trying to remember. Oh yeah, I downloaded this app from Cydia, and it would pretty much constantly respring itself. It wouldn't. I mean, I'd go back to the regular mode. I'd try to open an app, and it would crash the springboard and try to respring. So I mean, that's very irritating when it does that. And you have to like restore it and do all that crap. So those are the 4 main things I would recommend considering when you're thinking about jailbreaking your iPod Touch. Now on to the good things. It has a lot of pros. I mean, it has a lot of pros. That's because I mean, there's really only about 4 main cons. Am I getting that mixed up? Pros or cons? Where it has about 4 main bad things about it. But it has a lot of good things. You just have so many cool tweaks you can do with it, and especially if you're like a 4th generation iPod, or you have like an iPhone that is faster, it might not do that as much for you. But it just tends to work a lot better. And if you have like an iPhone or iPod Touch 4th generation. But I mean, there's so many cool tweaks and apps. I'm not really going to get into that. I'll put some other videos up on cool tweaks and apps you can get from Cydia. As you can see, my iPod looks quite a bit different. I have 5 icons on each row, so I have like 20 apps on each page plus the dock, and I actually have a scrolling dock, as you can see here. And my actual springboard there moves up and down like that, and it's really cool. I got some like lock info here, different apps, just tons of different stuff like that. That is really cool, guys. So personally, unless you have like a like a 2nd generation 8 gig iPod or whatever, and your iPod's already really slow, then fact is it's going to be really slow. It's going to be a piece of crap. I mean, don't do it, okay? But if you have like 3rd, 4th generation iPod Touch, iPhone, something like that, I would totally recommend doing it. Because I mean, it is so cool what you can do with all these things. Yeah, so overall, I recommend doing it. I mean, even though I had to restore my iPod like 2 or 3 times, just because it like completely froze up, I re-jailbroke it because I really like having it, even though it's extremely slow. So yeah, overall I recommend doing it. It's really easy to do. It's completely free, and so check out my other video. I actually have a video up where I explain a full walkthrough on how to jailbreak your iPod. I'll put that in the annotation on the screen right now. So anyways, check out my other videos. Check out my channel. Subscribe to my video updates. And please ask me of any videos you want me to do. Okay. So this is PC iPods and More signing off. Have a good day, guys.